At some point in the process of creating page designs, you're going to need to put information into tabular format, to use a table to organize the distribution of the information on the page. Tables are very convenient. They can be used for all sorts of things, and I just want to introduce to you the basic concept of what a table is and what are the components that make up a table. And so to do that, let's go into Microsoft Word, again a program that you're very familiar with, and here I've created a simple 3-column structure using a 3x3 table, a table that has 3 rows across the horizontally across the top of the page and 3 columns vertically, creating 9 cells that I can place information into. So in this particular case, it's difficult to see the actual cells because I've turned the table borders off. If I select the entire table and I go up to my borders tab and turn those back on, you can now see the individual regions that make up this table. There's 9 cells of information from the upper left hand corner down to the lower right hand corner. The first row spans across the top of the design, and each cell contains 1 element. The second row contains the headings, group 1, group 2, and group 3, and then the third row contains the body copy for each of those 3 groupings. So a table was very helpful here to create the structure for this basic page, and if I undo the borders, we go back to the more attractive design, and I did use 2 borders just to create a line dividing the individual columns. Okay, so the way this was done, and I'm not going to have time to totally recreate this in this tutorial, but I'll show you the beginning and the basics of this. I've got a blank page, and the starting point for this is to simply create a new table. So I'm going to go to my Tables tab, and in the left hand corner I have the ability to designate the layout for the table. In this particular case, I guess I better turn that off. If I want to do a 3x3 table, I highlight the first 9 cells, first 3 rows, first 3 columns. It tells me in the upper left hand corner that this will be a 3x3 table, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that, and Microsoft Word inserts that table into the document. Now the cells are defined to the height of a basic character. If I just start typing right now, we can see that the cell in the upper left hand corner is set to the height of the current font size of the text. But if I go ahead and change that font size, and let's just make it really big, go down and say 48, then the cell expands to the height and to the width of whatever the content is that's in that cell. So as I changed the font size, the cell grew with the table to accommodate the size of the information that was put inside of it. The problem with this, if you're not careful and you don't think through the physical size of graphics or icons or pictures that you're going to put into the table, you may end up having a really large cell in the upper left hand corner, and then these other cells may actually just not work for you. You may not find the content fitting, and your table structure is going to sort of disintegrate, and you'll end up with something that doesn't look very attractive. Well, the idea was really to put icons in this first cell, so I'm going to delete that little portion of text and go up to my insert menu at the top of the page, and we'll go ahead and begin inserting content into these cells. And this will be from pictures that I have pre-created just for this project. Icon 1 will go in the first cell. I'll tab over so that my insertion point is now in the second cell, and I'll go back to the top and we'll insert in image number 2 from File. Icon 2, this should be the image of the orange silhouette. And I'll tab over one more time, placing the insertion point into the third cell, and insert picture from File, Icon 3. So real quickly here, I'm going to type some content into these other cells. Heading 2, I guess that should be heading 2, and this should be heading 1, and heading 3. And we can do different things to this. I'll go ahead and make that bold since it is going to be a heading, and we'll make it a little bit bigger. And then I can take body copy, and for this I'm just going to navigate over to Safari, to a website where I can grab some placeholder text, and I'll copy that text into each of the 3 cells. And you can begin to see how this design is sort of taking shape. I've got some fine tuning to do. The very first thing I'm probably going to do after inserting my content is to turn the table borders off completely, and then come over here and just simply add, well, I think I'll do it in the middle. I'll select all of the copy in the center column and go to my borders tab, and we'll turn on left, and we'll turn on the right border. Again, you can begin to see how this will take shape. So I got a little bit more fine tuning to do. Again, I'll go back to the original layout to show you the finished product. A little bit more finesse in terms of how this was achieved. But again, I did this all by using a table in Microsoft Word. And again, other programs that you'll encounter will give you the ability to create tables and to create very interesting grid structures using this very simple feature.